Welcome back to another war. I hope you can't hear the conversation going on in the kitchen. Sometimes they can get pretty loud, but it doesn't matter. Let's focus on what's important here. Um, Now, the previous wars had been quite uneventful, but this time I think, um, well, this just let's just say this wasn't a good war for me. You see me here, I scouted out my path and I decided it was a better idea to bring Hood for the synergy so I could tank L3s in case I had to fight the Hyperion mini-boss. Um, and, well, I just thought it was safer. I don't really enjoy when I have to bring Hood instead of Ant-Man. I really do miss the additional damage that the synergy with Ant-Man provides. But in this case, well, it's just better to be able to take those special threes instead of just taking a whole bunch of damage and risking dying. I think maybe something was going on at my house because I don't usually just back out of a fight like that, like you saw me do right there. I checked the profile and I really thought it was going to be a match. I was worried because although Hood does allow Ghost to avoid the limbo damage, it still isn't a very enjoyable fight when you have to fight around the limbo from magic. I just hate it. But well, it turned out to be a Mordo, and although I do hate fighting Mordo, does make it a bit easier to do. But well, let's continue to the next one. I don't remember who was here. Let me see. No, I don't remember. Oh yeah, this is Yondu. I do see Yondu on my path quite often, and it is really quite an easy fight. I usually have no trouble against Yondu, and he tends to be quite willing to throw his SP1, so no problem here. As you see there, I mean that special 2 would have definitely killed him with the Ant-Man synergy, but well, it simply wasn't enough without him. But it doesn't matter. It was still a pretty straightforward fight. Now, the next one is going to be a Kingpin, which I do see quite often on that node, but it's still quite easy, as you probably know by now from my previous fights. Quite sure something must have been happening at home, because I was adjusting the volume so much and I backed out of fights and went in again sometime later. So yeah, something must have been going on at my house at the moment. But well, I check the notes again and I just go in to the fight. I check again. I have a bit of a no CD problem. Well, I'm just kidding, obviously, but I do tend to check things a bit much if I'm not sure about something. Probably not a good thing, but I don't think it's a bad thing either. So, well, no problem. It just helps me to feel safer when I go into fights. Well, now you see here I'm trying to bait a special one, which he throws quite willingly. Throw an SP2. Place him almost down. I have to bait another SP1 just to be on the safe side. I don't like intercepting, as you know, and his SP1 is quite easy to evade, so no problem there. Now, the interesting part of the war is going to start right now. I waited until the nodes were cleared, and you see the Killmonger mini-boss, and well, let's just say that wasn't a nice fight. I don't know why, I usually don't die to this, but I guess sometimes you just have a bad time fighting Killmonger. I think the best way of playing around this with Ghost is just building up to an SP2 as fast as possible. Since you don't have to parry him, and you are not inflicting any debuffs on Killmonger, you don't build his power too much. So I think the best way to do this fight with Ghost is to get to an SP2 as fast as possible, trying to ignore Reverberation and throw it as soon as you can. As soon as he deactivates Reverberation, as soon as the timer ends and you can hit him without taking any damage back, you throw the SP2. Otherwise you just get pushed into the corner, which is never enjoyable. And well, I think I just got a little upset after doing that, having to throw that SP3. I don't like throwing an SP3 with Ghost when unnecessary. And the fight went downhill and I was killed. I was too stressed out and I simply couldn't take the control of the fight back. I pondered a minute over what I should do next, and I decided to just go in again. Of course, I wasn't going to fight Killmonger with my hood, so I just revived Ghost, healed her up a bit, and went into the fight again. 3 potions, oh my god, that's expensive. This was quite an expensive war. I usually don't spend too many potions, but it was just necessary for this fight. Now, you will see here what I was talking about previously. I just build up to an SP2 as fast as I can, so I can launch it while the Reverberation isn't active. You see there? Much easier, much more straightforward, no problem. Of course he was in full health, but still, I think if I had followed the same strategy I used on the previous try, I would have died again, probably, or would have been very close to it. Someone had already taken down the Hyperion, so I guess the hood synergy was unnecessary, and now that I think about it, I probably could have just taken an out from Killmonger without an issue. Well, I was going to leave the Medusa boss to someone else, since Ghost isn't exactly the best matchup against Medusa, but nobody could seem to bring her down. The attack bonus had already been lost, so someone in my battle group, I think it was the officer, told me to just go for it. And well, he said that to everybody, and I decided to take a shot. Now the problem with having to fight a Medusa boss is that you can't parry, so you usually have to take plenty of blocked hits, and when you have the disadvantage, it tends to be very problematic because the block damage is insane. I intercepted there. I'm not sure if it was on purpose or I was just getting nervous and accidentally pushed the screen, touched the screen without meaning to. But well, no problem. I usually suck at evading the SP2 from Medusa as well. I was lucky enough to be far from her when she launched it. And well, the fight went on quite well, I was going to say easily, but no, it was very stressful. But I managed to keep my cool and just continue the fight without getting too desperate or stressed out. I launched another SP2, which almost takes her down. I don't remember how this ends. I intercepted one time there. Oh yeah, I launched an SP1 and she's done. Perfect. I hope you enjoyed this war. It was quite stressful. I did not like how I felt of the deaths. Also, the Medusa boss was intense. But well, I will see you on the next one.